Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Initiative. This is episode 8, but it has been a hot minute since we've actually done an episode almost, I want to say 2 months, and things were just got really busy within the Proving Grounds circuit as the full spring tournament kicked into high gear near the tail end of March and going all throughout the month of April. It was awesome. We got to see some amazing gameplay, and everyone was pretty much hands on deck. But now we're getting ready for summer circuit, and there have been a lot of changes, including with our guest today, the jungler for Resolve in Fanatiik. He is someone that I've been trying to get onto the show for quite some time, and both of our schedules were just really busy throughout the last couple of months, but I'm glad to finally have you here. And as someone that was on previously the team for Barrage, and that team having moved almost the entire team, save for Gorka, who's now in TSM Amateur, you now have Array as your marksman. So tell me, what has that dynamic been like with your new marksman player?
First off, thanks for having me. I think we've been wanting to do this for a little bit, but as
Yeah.
you said, our schedule were very, very busy. So then going back on the Array topic, I think obviously since we kept 4 players and same coaching staff, it's very similar. But initially, Array was very quiet. You know, whoever has that interaction with him knows like he's a very emotionless person, and he's like doesn't speak much, but lately he's been opening up and kind of joining our mood of like we're kind of just all clowning around at most times. So it's been great. I think he's fitting in pretty well. So
okay, well, so with Array being someone that doesn't speak as much as Gorka, has that impacted or changed the way you as a jungler play the game recently for Resolve?
not really, not in terms of how I play like gameplay wise, but definitely I've had to like take a decent one. Like obviously I think Gorka was speaking a decent amount. I think everyone on our team speaks a lot. But like me and Winter has had to like, you know, pick up what Gorka was bringing to the table. But in terms of gameplay, not really. I think it's pretty easy to plug in an AD carry in most rosters as long as they're good enough individually. So
Oh, fair enough. And as well, it's kind of nice that you don't have to change up your individual play style and your team identity, because obviously there have been teams with roster swaps that kind of throw in a different loop. If you have naturally a player that was a lower econ role and required less resources suddenly get replaced by someone that demanded higher resources, then that can be quite the adaptation you have to make. But it doesn't seem like you guys have to, so that's nice for Resolve. Speaking of Resolve, in this past week was your first competitive match in the first Tier 2 tournament of the Proving Grounds Summer Circuit for Challengers Uprising. You played against Golden Guardians Academy, which you guys did drop the series, but then you picked up the victory against 100 Thieves next. So between both, what did you guys as Resolve learn, and what do you feel needs to be improved as both for your team and as an individual?
I mean, now let's start from the GGA side. I think we just had a pretty bad day. No excuses. I think we were just playing poorly. I wish we would have showed up to see how we would match up against them again. Hopefully in the finals or in the playoffs. But I think I realized I need to pick up more on what Gorka was bringing to the table. Because as I said, Array speaks less and is less demanding than Gorka. So I think something as Winter and I have to pick up and, you know, like just improve on. And I think when versus 100, I think I personally had a pretty bad individual game 1, and it was sort of a wake-up call. I think I was trying to do too much in game 1, just from gameplay standpoint and my communication, which I'm not sure why, but I think I just shook it up, and I think game 2 went pretty well. So yeah.
Okay, so basically Golden Guardians, they were the better team that day. But then going into 100 Thieves next, can you kind of touch up a little bit more? Was there anything specific that you had planned for that team? Or did you just, after the series loss against Golden Guardians Academy as a team, did you guys get together and just kind of pinpoint certain fallacies that you were experiencing?
I think we had pretty bad drafts from Golden Guardians. We didn't realize, like, we felt like we had a wrong view of the meta to an extent. And I think we changed that going to Wonder Next, especially knowing they prioritized some champion. So, like, we knew they wanted to play a lot of AD soul laners / flex, like the stat Renekton and Lee Sin. So on boost side, we just banned those out. And game 1, we took a gamble by leaving Rumble open, thinking they wouldn't play it. But even though they played it, we still won the game. So that was nice. It was, I guess, a gamble that we decided to take. So
since one of the gambles was giving over a power pick jungler in Rumble, we did just change over to patch 11.11. So I don't know if you can, if there's something that you potentially leak, you don't have to disclose it, but are there things that you guys are prepping now with any of the recent jungle changes, or are you looking to kind of just stick with comfort picks for now while the team continues the mesh?
I think without leaking anything, I think whatever we showed, like in the past 2 weeks from the OQs and what's called our matches in this week, are pretty similar. I think the nerfs weren't that big on Rumble and Morgana. I think the Morgana nerfs were more significant, but I think the meta should be the same. We're still, I think we have some stuff prepared, at least mid lane, that I think people won't be ready for. So that's pretty nice. So, yeah, that's it. Hopefully we win our match versus Dig. Then I think they should secure playoffs, if I'm right.
Yeah, so, I think once you beat Dig Mig, then depending on, I don't know what the seeding will be like, but then you will be secured.
Second.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Actually, so if we win and GGS wins, GGA will be first and will be second seed.
That's right.
And I believe if that's it, we would play C9AM in our first round playoffs.
Now, so just to be a little play devil's advocate, let's say you beat Dig Mig, but then let's say 100 Thieves beat Golden Guardians, because then 100 Thieves having beaten Dig Mig,
would be a two-way tie.
It's two-way or three-way tie, because everyone will be 2-1.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm not sure how that would go. Maybe it is a game duration thing, game score. I'm not sure actually.
We'll have to look into it. Hopefully Golden Guardians don't choke, and then you guys can just be on your merry way and go with the top 2 seeds.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay. Well, we have only gotten 2 weeks, if you include OQs, in terms of gameplay and game footage of kind of the landscape of players and teams for the Summer Proving Ground circuit. As of now, are there any players that you respect the most? And obviously, like, we're not going to look at your team because I'm assuming you respect them, maybe barring APA.
I had all of them.
You don't have any? No players to watch out for?
No. I mean, obviously you have to put respect on players like Harrow, Tuesday, Alarm. I think those are probably like 3 of the best players right now on the circuit. But in terms of like players I think should be like quote unquote up and coming, I think Sked Dreams is probably one of the better names I think people should be watching for. I think he's pretty good AD carry. I also I just had a name that I forgot. Oh yeah, I think with Shuri coming back, I think the AD carry pool, even though Shiro and Timu left, I think with Arrow and Shuri coming in, it's still gonna be a pretty strong pool.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're also with Array, I think being on a better team. I think with us, I think he will show that he's a much better player than he was on Supernova.
Array no longer being on, as you and other Resolve members have called them, the super noobs, and the moment I saw Array call them super noobs, I knew he was fitting really well with you guys. But yeah, no, you're completely right. Even with Danny and Team Luke gone, the AD carry pool is still quite stacked in the Proving Ground circuit. You have Apart from Shoryu and Arrow, you've got Sketch, as you mentioned before. Wixie from Cloud9 Amateur
Yeah,
is
he's
someone
stepping up.
Yeah, Wixie is someone worth noting. Obviously, Array for Resolve. Prismal from Golden Guardians Academy.
I wouldn't say it's AM though. It's like I was just counting Parinam.
Sure. I guess I got a little carried away counting Challengers Uprising teams. I think another one to consider as well is who's the crap.
What team? I probably would have an idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Gorka, even though
Gorka obviously.
Yeah,
I think he's
Gorka.
on a weaker team, sadly, but hopefully he still shows up. It will make me very sad because obviously joining a third team, though I think most rosters are going to be weaker.
Yeah.
But I still think he can pull it through. I think he's a very strong visual player. I also think Instinct.
Yes, that's the player I was also thinking of. Between Instinct and Busio, I think that they are the best two players on that team. Also, coincidentally, they
Actually, I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
Oh,
I
really?
think Young is the best product. I think he's improved a lot this
Young?
offseason.
Oh, okay.
I think from the games I've watched, I think he's improved a lot. And also maybe it could be the meta. I think it probably fits him very well. But I think he's looked pretty good in the games I've watched. And even the games against us, I think individually, I was playing team fights was pretty great, actually.
Well, that's very cool. Young is from Utah, so represent. but that's nice to hear because I think during the spring circuit, Young he didn't have the best performances, and it always seemed like Instinct and Busio were the only good parts about that team. But it's nice to see that if based on what you say is true, then Young is stepping up, and that needs to be done because even though you have new players like Gamsu and Chad Jungle coming in, they're still not quite meshed in with the team yet. But speaking with people like Cubby and a lot of other coaches, they're saying that if this team gels up, then they're a potential dark horse for the summer circuit.
Yeah, I think they're still a decently strong team right now. I didn't expect them to come out so strong, like from the beginning. So.
For sure. Well, speaking more about you, Fanatiik, what are your personal goals? So, and these can be things outside of obviously succeeding with Resolve this summer, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be with Resolve forever, and you want, you want to move on to greater things. So, how do you, as a player, actualize those goals?
I think people would have asked me from last split if I was happy or not. I would say I'm pretty frustrated the way our split ended. I truly believe that if we beat TSM or TSM Academy, because I think we had an absolutely really poor day that we showed up versus them. I think if we would have played well during that day, I think would have also beaten Fly, and I think would have been top 6. And I truly believe we were a top 6, top 5 team in Proving Grounds last split. So I think for this split, I really want to prove it, and because I think a lot of people they see me as like pretty good junglers, but I think I've underperformed at an academy. So I would be pretty happy with myself if I would be able to prove it versus the academy teams that hey, I'm not only someone who stomps the AM scene, I can also do very well in the higher levels. So
okay. And to kind of dive a little deeper into that subject, Fanatiik. So obviously, the spring circuit, there's a lot of things that were out of both you and your team's control that kind of happened, and then of course, games happen where you don't perform at your best, and it doesn't reflect the results that you would like to present forward. Are there any things in these games as an individual, like specific patterns or behaviors that you are working on to improve your overall play?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to improve myself. I think sort of bringing more of our fight conditions and how I communicate with my teammates before fights. I think something I'm currently working on. I think it's the next step to, like, even though I think we are most of the time on the same page, I still think we can go to another level. So I'm currently working on that to make sure everyone in our team is on the same page at all time.
Okay. So just communicating more openly. And as you know, going back to what you said, that since Gorka is no longer on the team, you feel like you need to naturally step into that role a little bit more and being more vocal to make up for a little bit of the lack of the comms in the absence of Gorka. One thing I would actually like to ask you, I know this isn't on our prearranged questions, but you know, going through the format changes, we have gone from 3 tier 2s and 3 tier 1s into Proving Grounds to only 3 tier 2s, 1 tier 1, and you know, then into the Proving Grounds tournament. But the academy split has been quadrupled in the amount of games. What are your perspectives and thoughts on these changes overall?
It's only great, right? I don't think I know anyone who will say it's bad what it did. Like, I really wish when I play in academy that we had best of 2s, you know? Like, it's super difficult. It's like when you have a best of 1 to like say, oh, I want to go for a risky draft or risky plays, because the B1, it's like super risky.
Yeah.
So, and for the AM side, I think last bit it was, oh my god, it was too crazy. Like a lot of, I know the top teams like barely had time to scrims whenever a new patch would come out because they'd still be on a tournament. So
Yeah.
I think we got a good middle ground. So yeah, still think there's some stuff that could be improved that I would like to think more about, since I think the scene still isn't perfect.
Yeah.
But it's definitely much better than last split.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there slowly, you know, one step at a time. Yep. I will say that there are some things that I'm extremely happy about. Obviously, more academy games compared to like anyone that competed in academy and spring circuit this past split, I felt so bad for, because you played 9 best of 1s and that was it. Whereas even though like the Proving Grounds players in semi-pro had a really miserable schedule, at least you guys got to play a ton of on-stage games compared to academy. And
100%.
So like I'm happy for all the people in academy, more play time, more stage time, and it allows for you to try out more things, like you said, instead of having to go to comfort and safe drafts for the sake of winning best of 1s. But there's always things that can be improved and can be fixed, and I think there's some things that are not being addressed. I think for this split they've included that you can have subs now, but there's not a really easy environment to facilitate wanting a sub, or a player is going to want to be a sub when they could just be a player on another team. So you know, until they can address making an incentive for that, then it's, I guess, in your case, who is your sub for Resolve if something were to happen? We have no one. Well, fuck.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with the schedule being better though, I think I really want tournament organizer. Let's say, because I mean it happened to us, right? Let's say we lose internet again. Hopefully tournament organizer forces the match to be played on another day, because now we actually have like free time during like every week to like fit in a match. So
yeah, the schedule being
someone's gonna finish. Oh
no, it's all good. Yeah, you finish first.
With what's called, there were so many games I think last split that were decided from stuff that wasn't anyone's control. And I mean, I know CNM also lost a game from losing internet, and it's like it's just a blur, you know. It just yeah. That
was a shitty thing that happened.
Yeah.
And like no one is at fault for that, but you know, the way it's handled sometimes it leaves sour taste in people's mouths afterwards, right? So but in those moments, hopefully now that the schedule is not only nowhere near as hectic, but it's also completely normalized across all 3 tier 2s, right? So
yep.
It's only 2 days of the week across 3 weeks. So there should be, in theory, plenty of time Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to reschedule a match and get it done before the next week match. So hopefully that is no longer an issue. I also just hope that the internet gods don't take a shit on you or anyone else in Proving Grounds, and
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed, because that's always just such an unfortunate way to go out.
Yeah. I mean, going back to like even when I lost my 10 versus Inu, I still believe we lose that game like 90% of the times, but like I know it probably felt shitty for the Nor guys and like even the people watching, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like, until the Nexus explodes, the game is still technically winnable, right? Even if you have all the means necessary and your team is good enough that you should be able to just close it out on autopilot, you still want the game to feel like it has closure when it's actually played out versus just, oh, DC happens, guess game's done, finish. One last question before we give you a chance to do any shout outs and whatnot. Throughout your entire career, and I know this is kind of going away from recent current events and the future events that we talked about, but we have some time to kind of delve into your past. I know that the last time you were in Academy was with FlyQuest. So during this time from last year and then playing with Barrage and Resolved, and you can even mention other times in your competitive history, what has been one thing that you are really proud of that you have improved on or has always been like a shining strength about you as a player?
Sure, I think one thing I'm pretty proud of this split, I think I've been able to regain a lot of confidence on myself back. I think whenever I was FlyQuest, even though I think I had decent moments, I also had pretty bad lows. I think I lost a lot of confidence in myself since I think, just to be honest, I don't think the way I was playing there was my strength. I think right now the way I'm playing with the Barrage guys / Resolve guys, it's more about I feel the game should be played, and like Resolve's more about my strength, or shows more about my strengths. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy that the way I'm playing with this team, like it shows what I can do and how good I can be.
That's great, man. I'm happy to have seen your progress and growth for the entire Proving Ground spring split, and then going into summer. I know we've just started, but I mean, me and many other colleagues already had high expectations of you and Barrage. Obviously, you guys did too, and understandable the disappointment when you didn't reach the expectations you met. But now this is a new split. It's a new time to be able to meet the expectations and achieve the goals that you have for yourself. And so you just take one day at a time, one game at a time, and full confidence that you're going to get to where you envision yourself to be, Fanatiik. So, yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Before we go, give yourself the opportunity to shout out. I do have your Twitter handle already on screen, but if there's anything else that you want to let the fans know, or if there's anyone in particular you want to shout out, go right ahead.
I'll just give a shout out to my teammates. Obviously, I think since they're helping me or doing what I want to achieve. So I think PCL, always plan ahead, or APA rather. Array, I think especially someone people should be watching for. Obviously, he's less known than the rest of our team, but I think people should be paying attention to us. I think he can be very good, and he already is. Winter, and I think our coaching staff, Lucian and Surza, and our org, Resolve. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Fanatiik, for joining me on today's episode, and we will see you again on Monday when you take on Dignitas Barrage. So, best of luck, and until next time.